at really any tournament that we watch them. It's very cool to see even a team like Envy feeling the need to make moves to their roster. Caboose leaving and Marv coming in is a big one, and now their comp changing up a little bit, and even some individual players getting more comfortable with more characters in this game, such as Victor. It feels really good, to say the least. Folks, it's a new day for T1 and Envy, and it's a best of 3 to decide their fates here in the open qualifiers. Let's get into it. It's Split going live.
Yeah, very early Viper roll coming out from FNS, and there's going to be a dog or a Trailblazer to lead this charge. 2 Nanostorms and a Gravel, very, very ready here for T1 at the very least, though. And it's going to be such a stronghold. Not even able to dash across the site. Storms go out, and Victor has somehow been able to make that space. That paint shell so deadly in pistol rounds is going to net the first frag and will give space to the way of Envy.
And look, speaking of space, Victor all the way in the back of spawn already trying to take down a player or two off that rotation. Takes down Skadoodle and is still alive. Everyone alive still for Envy. And these last 2 players from for T1 is just... they're scrapping, yeah, for sure. So many players low on HP. And 33 HP left on Mummy. And he's still able to get those last 2 clean ones. It's a big pissed around win for him.
Yeah. I mean, Envy, a very clean execution. I was really concerned with that Gravel, but I think it was Victor who tossed 1 blast back to beat out the Gravel, and all of that space that is able to create alongside that nade to take down the player back pillar. That would be Brax. Him going down so early loses so much control as he's the only person on that site, and Envy find themselves on a 1-0 start. It's going to be Mame, who only sticks to the Ghost. The rest will be Spectres. I assume he's going to try and save up for an Operator early on. But on the side of T1, no upgraded pistols except for Curry Shorty. But even then, how effective is that going to be in this position?
Uh-oh. Victor is still going to be able to take down Automatic, but Skadoodle, there you go. That off position, still able to take down Victor. An immediate trade back from FNS, so not any big issues thus far. That one could have been a little bit scrappy. Curry up front, and I would have expected that second pump, because it's just like right in front, like point blank range. I would have expected that to kill, but it is what it is. Maybe a little bit too fast off the trigger. It is T1 looking for potentially at least a lurk kill or 2, and it's Don who has that information from FNS, or that FNS was all the way back in A. Still trying to cover up a spawn rotation. Brax still coming out from heaven, and Envy should be able to take away this one.
Yeah, it was Envy who set up this kind of fake towards A side. You lead in with Victor, and then you have FNS right behind, who's kind of that executor when it comes to working into the site. Completely sold the fake onto T1. The B site completely open. Now FNS, it's all about really staying alive. Smoke in this backside just so he can't get flanked on, but also a chance for him to slip away if he gets his kill here. And yeah, he should be safe for now as he walks through Dawn. His snake bite, he's going to get hit with a vulnerability. So easy round there for Envy. Again, it was just up against pistols. Now T1 will have the advantage back with their rifle buy. The only person going down is Victor. What can we expect him to buy? He might go for that rifle. Mummy could also go for the rifle, but at this point in time, Envy are going to be looking to maximize credits, and it should be a full bonus from them.
Indeed it should. It's Victor still outstretching for an investment of that SMG. Never mind. Wow. That Shorty flashing by in that hand of Victor. It's a little bit rough. It's a little bit risky for sure. But of course that Spectre goes out at the very end, so not exactly, you know, that big of an issue. Early on though, in terms of util, it is at least Envy playing a little bit more of a default. They have a Viper wall over up in A, and it's really just split attention throughout the map. This is good pacing.
Set a little bit of a fake. Marv throws a dark cover in the middle of B site, so that obscures the vision a lot, and it changes the positioning from T1. Now they've got to kind of work back into heaven, and now the focus, again, goes back to this mid side. And in the meantime, Envy are just waltzing their way over towards the A side. Only one really quick rotation from Curry, as he's the only player towards Elevator. Yes, they've got full mid control, but they don't exactly know that. Envy could be lurking around, so rotations might be a little bit labored for T1, and that's the gap that Envy are looking for.
Skadoodle needs to find a gap at this point. These smokes have opened up, and Skadoodle's in the back line with a really good angle. He's able to get himself two. Curry chimes in, gets another one. There goes Skadoodle, continuing his reign of terror in the back of sight. 3 easy ones as Ska, alongside a couple of players trying to bait away attention in heaven. It works out in their favor. Finally, a round back for T1.
Nicely played from T1. I mean, Skadoodle in a perfect and prime position. Curry takes away all of the heat off of Ska, and he's just able to sit in that corner, find 1 or 2 kills, play off of his stars that he's placed preemptively on that A site, and, well, a nice freebie, I'd say, for T1. A little bit of a scare, seeing how late those rotations were coming in, but by the time those rotations get there, everybody's already dead on the side of Envy. And, well, the full buyback, Victor the only one that has to work with a Bulldog and light armor because he is the one that did buy a rifle in the last round. Still, full strength for both sides, technically, as T1 early Astro Smoke goes down, Nebula out, and a Boombot to follow up will give a lot of info and a lot of clearance that this A side isn't too preoccupied. And Crashies, with a deep Trailblazer, gets a lot of info in towards Elevator, but Curry can obviously end up retaking.
Yeah, it's info, but it's not info that they can act on at all. So Curry, yes, has more than enough space to at least collect back Elevator. It's a setup on A, though, that's a little bit more tricky. Envy is making a whole lot of noise for a spike that's all the way over and made. Oh, all the way over from mid, but yes, Automatic going for a massive swing and a massive nade at the exact same time. That's a very, very useful wide swing, but oh, look out for Crashies. Crashies looking to make a little bit of a path over towards B, and it could just work. Marv has control. 2 players have control. Now they're just watching out for rotations. Curry comes in, takes down Crashies, and that is finally having control lost in a way. Will we see B actually taken? Yes, we will. We will see B. It is all there, Sully.
Only temporarily. 3 versus 2. Marv has got a decent bit of utility. Smoke, dark cover will be charged up. Paranoia to ensure that the plant can go down for free.
Spike planted.
He's alongside Mummy. You basically have 2 duelists acting upon in this round, and there again, gotta try and make an advantage. Mummy, no dash, so he's gotta get a kill here. He's got 1, holds a spray, but the smoke down, and he's gonna get punished because of it. Marv now revealed because of the Seekers, and he's left in this 1v2.
1v2. Player time, Marv. Player space. Has 1 target right in the middle of his crosshair. Gonna be able to take down Curry! But Skadoodle with the wide swing. Gonna be able to ice things out. It's a wild scenario, too, because Marv just simply wasn't in a good position at all to try to take back any trade or really any sort of pace. There you go. A little bit of a frowny face. Making sure that they intimidate their opponents. Big slow round from T1 though, because it's sort of that play that we were anticipating from Envy, and T1 switching up pace, just trying to switch up coverage really, leaving a lot of choke points open. Envy walk right into their traps.
Yeah, they leave Brax a lot on this B site kind of by himself, and for a flanker or a lurker like Marv, it's really tricky to maneuver if you're working on that B site, and it's very, very lucky that I think he finds a kill on the Brax, who's kind of caught napping on that pillar. So is that going to happen too often with the util that Brax has got lined up? It's again very hard to create these kind of lurks, but Envy are looking maybe for a little bit of a B split here. Fake wall to the A side just to deny a little bit of information. There's a very small gap where I think they can slip through into A main, so T1 should be very wary of that. But again, Brax on this B site, Nano Storms an alarm bot at the ready, and even a Gravel ready to be triggered if need be. It's Crashies who's going to set up a burst play, but is it going to be enough to crack through this site? Again, those Storms are the biggest issue.
Well, it absolutely is. The dash is certainly going to help, but there you go. One of the Nano Storms finally ends up taking down Victor, and C1 currently just trying to regain that control, but mission accomplished for Envy. Oh, okay, Marv is still going. Marv is still going. He could have certainly gotten himself a second, but that burst not connecting on any pixels whatsoever. Instead, it is Skadoodle taking back the frag, and the plane still hasn't gone down. Crashy still sitting up on that back line. Mummy coming in from that flank, and 1 HP left on Crashies is just going to leave a dry sight. No spike down, and just a whole lot of bodies. T1, good catch.
I like the discipline, knowing that the spike hasn't gone down, but you're not eager to just push into the site and try and figure out what's going on. They sit up in heaven. They know they have the advantage. You don't want to overcommit in the one opportunity that there is a flank coming, and there was indeed a flank coming. So T1 completely wary. Again, we see that use of that KJ utility. Brax slowing down that push and even finding a pick while at it. Huge play from him to at least slow down the push and give his team time to rotate. T1 have the lead, but Envy have a buy back here, and it's Mummy who's picked up the operator, and he's looking for something, and this time a switch up from T1. The KJ's now on that A side, and it's just the Astra here alone. Dawn not in the best position, or apologies, Skadoodle not in the best position, and support is going to be very, very minimal, I think.
Yes, but here's the thing, Sully. Astras, they do struggle a little bit nowadays with the current meta, but they still have the power of that gravity well. They still have a nebula. They still have opportunities to delay time. That's just what the utility is based for. So that's really all that he would be there for, just for a delay, just for that information. And indeed, potentially a pick. Over towards mid, that gravity well certainly comes in at a pretty good time, sucking away an opportunity for a kill. And it's automatic, taking on a whole lot of damage. Does indeed get healed, but the B side is wide open.
Yeah, look at this, and they know as well. They're hearing the footsteps into heaven. They were hoping that that play towards mid would pull rotations, and it's done exactly that. Showstopper to open up the site. And now the Seekers to follow. Skadoodle still sitting in the back. He really can't do much here. He's around the pillar, and there's not much he can do with no support from his team. Gun down from his right side, and Mummy is there with the operator to find Kurg swinging from spawn. It's a 5 versus 2, and just like that, it's an instant save call coming out from T1.
It's a 5 versus 2 with a ballsy swing from Crashies around the middle of site 2. Sully, we were having a conversation yesterday, and you said that Sky now has the makings of potentially a more duelist playstyle, or players can play Sky now in a little bit more of a duelist type playstyle. Are we going to be seeing that a whole lot throughout these 16 teams, or maybe even just close qualifiers next weekend?
I love how you forced this question. I mean, we said it kind of with Blix.
You said it, man.
And now he's the one in the last map, or at least the last best of 3 Sonics, were definitely a team that used Plix as a duelist on Sky. And the main reason is how quick you can get those flashes out, pop it, and then pull your gun back out. I mean, obviously still an initiator. You set up plays like that. You set up dashes and in executions, but in the hands of a duelist, Sky could be just as useful as maybe, say, a Phoenix or something of the sort. But for now, Envy, they don't really need to use it too much, because I'm going to be honest, you've probably got 2 of the best duelists on your side. I even consider a 3rd with Mame, if I'm being completely honest. But Envy, a nice Phoenix into the B site, using that Sky util to open things up, and using that Raze util as well. Envy with a confident tied scoreline, 3-3. T1, not going to roll over at all, as they still have a bye themselves.
Buy is out. The attacking side op is in. Mame currently with an op over towards A ramp. Not going to be able to catch anything early on. It's an early default from Envy.
Ooh, Trailblazer getting a lot of space here from Mame. The confidence to kind of push forward now is pretty apparent. Guiding light goes through. TP committed. Not committed enough, as it is canceled by the kill, but still they're just trying to sell a fake, and it's worked out pretty well here. Now you can kind of see the uncertainty. Curry's not too sure what site he should be playing on, with that Trailblazer getting that information. Mame can play here with his operator. He's in a very good position to get all that information, maybe even find a first pick. So Heaven control is kind of in the favor of Envy right now, but still they're not committed. 50 seconds left, and they still have the opportunity to rework back towards the B side. But it's Marv here, who's on a very late lurk to try and catch the player off an elevator and make a little bit less pressure in this Heaven position.
Oh my word. That Viper wall still hiding up Curry. That could have been a little bit funky. Automatic has to hold his own. Gonna be able to get 3 from this. Crashing coming in, capitalizing on 2. Curry coming up from behind. What a rush from Curry. Great hustle from Curry. The fact that Mummy wasn't able to find Curry was because Curry was just hot on the tails of all these players going into elevator. Nice stuff. And now Curry's gonna be able to save up that op, and no, not gonna commit to the op here on the defensive side of Split, but still, I kind of just a spur of the moment type deal there.
Yeah, Curry sends in a really big flash, and it catches, I think, Mame blind. He's able to get right behind his teammate, or at least the opponents that are trying to trade out their fallen comrades to automatic in the middle of elevator. And they don't pick up the op because mainly you don't really have any operating agents on the side of T1. Automatic, who typically solo ops on Jet, so makes sense. No operator picked up here. Envy dropping that around, a very slow take, and you expect a little bit more aggression, right? You give T1 all that time to adjust. Mame is gonna dash straight in. This is what you expect to see, but he's shut down before he can even step foot into the Heaven side. FNS good for 1 trade back, but it's Don here in the middle of the site that's causing so much disruption. But even then, Crashy's vulnerable, is still able to get a kill back. A 4 versus 3 on the side of A.
Crash, he's following up with a boom bot right as the smoke dissipates, and he's gonna go down in a heap. It's gonna be Curry getting that kill back, and with that kill, gets up the Seekers, and the Seekers can certainly help here in the middle of the Viper's Pit. Oh my, automatic! Going in, taking down Victor, but still the Viper's Pit is live. FNS is still alive in a 1v2, playing around the perimeter. Curry waiting up for the peak! Curry getting 3 on the round, and clearing outside alongside his show-stopping teammate Automatic. A 5th round for T1. Quite the explosive one at that, Sully.
Yeah, Envy kind of just ramping their way into sight. Mummy again using that jet dash to try and disrupt the crossfires being held, but Dawn, that snake bite, that poison orb, again you see how effective it can be in a situation like that, and allows the retake to come in where there's uncomfortability, delay, and Envy were not prepared for the speed that T1 were gonna go for that retake. 5-3 on the defensive side of split. T1 are looking really sharp at the moment, but Envy, again, they have a very weak buy. You hope that maybe they could get something going. With this lesser buy, it should again be T1 kind of running them over, especially now they have a lockdown prime.
You know what? Something that I kind of saw from that last round, because of that showstopper and because of the landing in the middle of the site, FNS was forced to go out to the perimeter. Just, man, I can't stop thinking about it. Well set up. But this next round, in terms of the setup, we're seeing most of the defaults over towards the mid side and potentially just an approach that leaves Spike back, and I thought that bird wasn't going to catch everything. I thought everyone looked away at the perfect time, but no, the bird is going to catch a flash or two, going to get that information, and we're going to see a peek back from Brax. Brax is going to be able to get a kill onto Victor in the exact same time. It is absolute chaos where Automatic ends up getting 2 kills. Envy thought that they had a gap over towards B, but it's a massacre in mid as Marv is now left to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if your lurk is successful if the rest of the attacking force is nowhere to be seen for it. Got a player flanking. Marv's quick to look, but not quick enough to get the kill. T1, who disrupt again the entire play from Envy. They foil it once more. Marv on that lurk to try and set up for that B execution to clear out the site for his teammates coming in through heaven, but it's not enough. Envy falling to bits in this mid position, and this is kind of the effect of having that Astra, right? The gravel pops up, pulls back. The Boomba space is not as forgiving as you would hope for Envy, right? The Boomba doesn't clear out too much space, and Brax taking that beautiful peek in towards Elevator, playing a very aggressive angle, is able to find a first pick in all the confusion. Envy, back with a stronger buy here, should maybe look for a little bit better of a result as they again focus back towards the mid side.
Okay.
Watch out for Victor. Trying to get a little bit cheeky up close and personal, but that boom bot alongside the Hawk is going to reveal him a little bit. Victor goes back, and the rest of T1, or the rest of Envy, do the exact same thing. Look at this pivot now from T1. Very heavy mid-sided. 2 players over towards heaven at the moment.
Yeah, you expect mainly the lurks, I think, as well from Envy, at least on the side of T1. It's a very good read to focus so heavy mid. And yeah, lockdown going into place here, just ready if Brax needs to place it down, but Curry, he's got to deal with it all. He's got to deal with everything, and he's already found 2. A 3rd player to approach and a 3rd kill not to be found. Envy will recover at least that 1 kill, but that lurk from Mummy now reinforced here by Marv. It's Skadoodle waiting at the beneath heaven, prepared for this play. He's held the cross. There are no stars. It's up to him and him alone, as no one else is there to support him.
Oh no, Skadoodle. He ends up taking on some damage too because of that off shot, and Marv very easily will be able to get that kill. 2 bullets in, and watch out for Mummy. Mummy! Did he miss out on that shot? Yes, he did. Point blank, but because he moves, the inaccuracy hits a little bit too hard, and again! Mummy, what is going on? Not able to reset that spray whatsoever, so instead goes in for the spray. The inaccuracy hits, and the lockdown is going to be able to spread out FNS and Marv. It's going to be able to force them to try to make a couple of moves. FNS's move doesn't matter. Marv stays up in the back line and gets killed. It's going to be a very light 7-3 for T1.
A super strong hold from T1. The focus back to mid, and then you pivot back to the B side after getting those kills. Again, individual plays like Curry coming up huge, but it's also based on the fact that T1 have just insanely good positioning at the moment, right? Curry gets these 2 kills, alleviates the pressure from mid. Skadoodle instantly drops down to under heaven to help support the B site, understanding where the hit's coming from, given the silence on the A site. T1 are playing this perfect. And at the moment, Envy are definitely struggling as we edge near the end of this first half, and T1 in full control with the credits, in full control of this round as well with the better guns.
Oh, Curry. That point blank bird again, trying to go for a cheeky peek, but it's this Viper wall that keeps kind of bailing them at the moment.
Exactly. I mean, you hope that with that nade, you force Curry off that angle. You try and take an aggressive approach, but with light armor or light shields and the lesser guns, you really don't want to take that 30 HP hit. And so slowing things down, rerouting them back to this A site, a rotation very quick here from Curry. More importantly, it's this KJ util that's super scary.
No, Don still has a couple of snake bites too. Could delay more time, but he has no time to actually make it
Brax.
way. No, and there you go. There you go. Brax going nuts. And it's that KJ util that comes up big again. Brax. 4 kills. As T1 is just able to mop up yet another one, and Braxton Swag Pierce. I've been wondering where this guy has been throughout the last couple of months. He's had quite the journey. He's jumped from roster to roster, and now he's back where he started.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's good to see Brax as well back on KJ, or at least his Sentinel, because that's where he's always had his best performances. And, I mean, he's having a great one so far. A nice 4K to top off that round. Now it's T1 here that have again to face up against the Envy full buy, but they've been able to deal with it pretty well. Once more, they're switching up the setups. Brax back to the B site and maybe trying to sell Envy to take the B site here, as they've been playing Brax on the A site quite often. And a very nice Viper's Pit coming out towards the mid side makes and disrupts the play from Envy, as now the focus, if they want to hit B, has to be solely through B main. But a quick dash from Mame breaks up the Nano Storms and breaks up the util. T1 are going to be playing the full post plant retake.
Let's see what they got. Because we do have that Cosmic Divide about to go live, but a whole lot of util. There you go. That nade could have been right on the sweet spot. It does spread around a couple of players in the middle of sight, but it's still going to have to come down to T1.
No charges.
Fat retake. They are holding on to that guiding light. They at least have 2, if I'm not mistaken. And, ooh, there goes again that Cosmic Divide covering up the back of sight. Great counter paranoia. Crashes is able to re-peek. There goes Don with a go back. Mommy has to hold on the middle of sight. Brax goes for the wide swing, ends up getting the kill. Now that Cosmic Divide is covering up the Spike at the moment. Spike is currently being defused. Curry's still going for it. Nobody peeking through. Finally goes one. Brax has to get 2 to try to finish off the round, but it's not going to happen. FNS finally catching in that last kill is going to finish off the round, and I think that was just a really good idea, Sully. Throw bodies at the problem.
Yeah, Envy, they were really banking on the fact that they weren't sticking it, and they really gambled on that fact at the very end there. But Envy, it's a nice, sweet ending to a sour start. T1 still in full control of this game at the moment in terms of the scoreline. An 8-4 half on their defensive side is super potent. And Envy, is the comeback really possible here? Most certainly is, as they move to their defensive side, the favorite side of Split. But I mean, just look at these highlights. So many crazy plays coming out from T1. A lot of coordination, but at the same time, individual plays like we've been seeing from Curry, from Automatic, from Brax are the game changers in a game like this.
It's, you know, I think the main thing with a lot of these plays, Sully, throughout that defensive side was almost literally almost exactly what I just said. Defensive. They were playing so defensive the entire time, so disciplined, and honestly, just consistent util throughout the entire round, or throughout the rounds, just keeping their opponents on their toes, and always just trying to catch that little bit of information to at least keep track of your opponents. It's been T1 doing a really good job consolidating utility throughout the half, throughout the rounds, that has landed us here in an 8-4. But slowly, of course, the round has been going on as we have been talking. We've had a couple of pieces of utility, a couple of approaches, but no kills yet.
That early Trailblazer and the info from Crashies off of the guiding light's going to give a lot of info about this play towards the mid side, and now they're kind of anticipating the B hit. Mame in a very nice position, isn't able to net anything off of that positioning, but thankfully his teammates are here to save the day. Crashies going to go down at the very end as Brax finds a double opening, and it's 1 HP here for at least the Rays, as Automatic needs to dance around. Nades will not go in. And T1 a little hesitant to go for the spike play, not knowing the angles that they've elected to take. Victor trying to beat out the Nanostorm and throw a paint shell grenade to delay the spike plan. He's done a good enough job to bait it out. Now he's going to go for the fight.
Victor, he just wants the right click up close, but not going to be able to find anything. Instead, it's Braxton Skadoodle just holding down the Yang. And yeah, that's the end of the round. Very easy post plan, and if anything, mid plant. But this next round, we're going to be seeing the SMGs getting pulled out, potentially a couple of rifles back in the hands of T1. I do want to see how this defense of Envy ends up formulating, because this is a brand new day for their split defense. This is the first time of us seeing it post patch.
Yeah, last time they played was 2 months ago, and it's been pretty shaky since. People used to say Envy was probably one of the best split teams a couple of months ago, but things have definitely changed. The meta has definitely fallen out of their favor, and it's a surprise knowing that T1 lost 13-6 to Ghost just the other day and are bringing the heat to Envy at the moment.
And Envy didn't really play split at all, Sully, if we're being completely honest, especially at like near the end of kind of just the Masters push for qualification. We only saw Envy play the map, I think, 4 times throughout the last month of stage 2. So, you know, not a lot at all, you know. And not only that, but split was a split record. It was a 50-50 record going 2-2. So Envy, again, they're not exactly, you know, split savants, but they have a record, they have a strat book. They're looking to bolster it up a little bit. Let's see what the approach is like over towards the B site, because Crashies is just looking for something a little bit cheeky. He might get caught.
It's just
He totally got caught.
Yeah, super long range fight as well with that classic. You're not going to win that any day of the week. Automatic quickly swinging out, and Curry right behind him to get the kill. Snakebite just in case alongside the Nebula. Pretty rough round for Envy. Now it's a farm here for Curry. Hopefully 1, 2. Nope, not even the second. You got Don right around, who is as well only going to fly to 1. So casualties definitely a mass, but nothing to worry about for T1. Envy will have their full buy going into this 3rd round, and T1 will be looking to bonus. Find themselves at 11. If they were to win this bonus and get themselves at 11, it might be lights out for Envy in map number 1, and that's their map pick.
Yeah, very similar scenario from what we saw between Sentinels and Sonics throughout that last map. It's a very similar scoreline, 10-4 now for T1, and like you said, Sully, this round just should be it. If T1 wins this one out, they go up to 12, and then we just have battles with the rifles from there. I don't really know what Envy is going to try to do in this next round to try to switch things up. We're seeing 2 players over on the A side going for early peaks.
Scout destroyed.
Ooh, Envy with those early peaks, not really going to get too much information. They're playing pretty conservative, at least on that A side, and it's T1 who responded in kind with a little bit of passivity of their own. Now they're going to work their way back up towards mid after things have kind of cooled down a little bit, and they know they need to take a little bit of space back. Crashy setting a guiding light just to check no one has approached past that Viper's wall, but now they certainly have an automatic trying to creep his way through, looking to punish Victor in this positioning, knowing that the Boombot has given that information, but nothing. 50 seconds, or apologies, a minute left on the clock. A deep Trailblazer going into B main. That should cue some rotations coming out from Envy and kind of signal that this is going to be an A hit.
And no real attention really elsewhere. I do like that B main control like you mentioned. And over towards mid, it's just totally empty. I don't think Victor cares. Victor needs to care though. FNS gets covered up, looks over towards mid. It's gonna be automatic getting a kill, but Victor is somehow still alive. He's down to 78 HP and nobody's gonna be able to trade him out. Now we just gotta wait for anyone from Envy to actually be able to rotate and actually be able to help him out. But I don't think Victor needs the help. He still gets himself another kill. Brax, so that Bulldog helps out. The Spectre in the hands is Skadoodle. Needs to go big around this corner. It's definitely possible. It's a 3v2. Paranoia in Ska's face. So the Cosmic Divide was charging up a little bit. Now it's gonna be Brax in a 1v2, but he already went down to so much HP to Crashies, and his teammate goes down at a very similar time. It's going to be yet another round for Envy, a 5th.
A little bit shaky still, though, losing those 3 players. Again, that was kind of lights out if T1 were to win that round. It was, again, just their bonus. So they'll have the full buy bet. Curry, the only one really not able to buy up too heavily here. But Envy, very solid round, right? Again, we see that kind of pressure towards the B side. That Trailblazer, Marv sitting there just in case of the rotation. And they knew the play was telegraphed. Victor does a very good job here to pivot around this one position. Be the Guardian when he's really offered no support from his other Heaven players. And Victor coming up huge in that positioning, finding that 3K, giving Envy life in at least this first map. T1 still, though, their full buy is on the cards here, and the job's not done yet for Envy. 5 more rounds to at least tie things up.
And they still got that time. Again, they evaded the disaster scenario of taking on a bonus and essentially getting fully reset. Envy, however, their economy's still not stable, for sure. They still have to watch out for what is T1 and an explosive comeback. Look at this from Brax, sticking around that B site, and could have potentially taken away a little bit of attention away, but nobody else is here. What is going on? Brax has to run away in the middle of a smoke, and that smoke still isolating duels. That is such good B main control.
Yeah, a huge paranoia coming out from Marv to set up Mame, and all that pressure, I guess, at T1 just didn't want to deal with it. After grabbing that orb, they're going to concede the main control. And it looks like T1, it should be fairly simple to retake this control. However, Mame is here. Crashy sending a nice guiding light just to check if there's anybody peeking mid. Gets no information. Now, what is the read here? Because Marv's is making a rotation back to the A side. And there's a Killjoy lockdown here. And Mame, no dash available to him. He's got a Cloudburst, 2 updrafts, and that's all he's got to his name. He's trying to hold the spray, and he's not going to get anything from it. Boombot would have been his finisher if it not been for automatic. Sight fully taken up, and Envy should be looking to play this post-plan retake.
Satchel out.
Unfortunate too. They thought that they had this site completely unlocked just because they had B main.
Oh,
now
Dawn.
this could all just fall in shambles, Sully. Dawn still covering up that end line, and Automatic has a good angle on Heaven too, taking down Marv up close and personal. That cosmic divide is still affecting him. There goes a nade right through, trying to connect onto stairs, and Crashy thought he was slick. Not gonna work. Automatic runs right through the cosmic divide. Curry is there to finish it off. FNS. Unfortunate. He ended up getting 1 kill, but close but no cigar. 11-5, as now T1 have put Envy up against the ropes again, Sully. They're only down to pistols.
God,
wait,
T1
they're forcing.
in that round who essentially set up a huge fake by just cutting noise simply on that B side, catching Envy off guard. And you're right, Envy are in this precarious position where you have to elect, do we try and force, or do we try and play against 7 possible map point rounds? They've gone for the first option, and they're going to save a little bit here. FNS, the only one that's afforded a buy at the moment. You want your main duelists, your main heavy hitters to have those rifles going into that 12th round, or apologies, that 18th round at the very least. So, not the best situation if you're Envy and T1. They're going to respect the fact that they're on an eco, take things a little slow, group up together, and cut down the anti-eco.
Yeah, that was the plan, but I don't think it worked. Brax ends up getting 3 kills, and yes, that approach in mid certainly does not work out in their favor. NB now left in the dust. Left over in A, really. Both players still sticking around there. So it's going to be yet another big one, and it's pretty much everything that we had anticipated. The anti-eco from T1 has been stellar thus far.
Just waiting and watching, allowing Envy to just run into your crosshair, take them down 1 by 1. There's another one, Brax.
Oh, hey, no
Could have had the ace. Don, have we seen an ace today? I don't think we've seen an ace. There have been so many like 4K,
Wait,
but no aces just yet.
no ace, right? I thought we saw one, and we might have ignored it. But no, no aces. No aces thus far. Certainly this set could give it to us, and we might have a couple more rounds to do so. At least that's the hope for Envy. Envy has everything that they could wish for, Sully.
Everything they, well, not necessarily everything.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry that they don't have a TP and, you know, not 2 helmets. All right. They have most of everything that they could want. All of the ultis on there, Sully, and they're gonna utilize one of them early.
Yeah, helmets are in Counter-Strike, buddy. It's 25 shields that they're missing, but still.
Oh my god.
Envy, an early Viper's ultimate to try and crowd this A main positioning. And they're going to take full space of it. T1 definitely going to respect this. Now it's up to Mame to prevent at least the elevator split, because that's the focus. Look at the map control that Envy have. Marved up deep into garage. Mame needs to prevent this mid split, because there is still that Viper wall set up on B for the exec, and Mame, it's again such an uncharacteristic miss. He's going to concede this positioning, and now the opportunity to split back into the B site through Heaven, and a late lurk possibly set up here from Brax.
We've only seen this op twice throughout this game, Sully, and like you mentioned, last time that we saw the ops, such unfortunate misses, and there goes another one. Potentially Mame can come back and try to help out here in the B site, but T1, they essentially have a red carpet. These players are still stuck in B main. Out goes the Seekers though. Crashy's still holding up in the corner. They know that the Seekers came out from here, and they're gonna go in with a flash. Brax with a clean peek, and Dawn coming in at the same time, taking out Mame, and now Victor wants to make a little bit of space. That Showstopper not getting absolutely anything. Viper spit in the middle of sight. Lockdown going in at the same time. T1 are looking good.
Oh no, no util as well for Victor to work back in. No nades, nothing. He needs 2 kills to get the paint shells online, and Envy 2 versus 5 to try the retake, and Brax, here's the hero again. Here's the golden boy of NA, and he's got a 4K.